There is no question that Ridgid has a nice sander for small shops. The problem with it is its dust collection or lack of dust collection. So in this video, I'm going to try to solve the problem and create a dust collection solution that actually works.
This video is sponsored by Bambu Lab.
This is really bad. This is not dust collection. For a company this big, they probably hired an engineer to design the dust collection on this, and this is the best they could come up with. I really don't get it. I don't understand that. So in theory, the dust is supposed to be sucked in through these vents, but that doesn't happen. So I'm gonna turn on my dust collection and see how strong this suction actually is. So there is dust collection here, but there's no way for the dust to actually get travel into these slots. I mean, it needs to have some kind of suction that starts here for it to actually work. I want to show you how my idea evolved into its final product. Before I do, I have to show you where I got my idea from. In the video I did last year, I showcased this, and I found it online. The download is free, and it's a dust shroud that actually worked really, really well. It had some issues. The problems that I had with it are, A, it required you to tap holes into the surface to mount this, which I didn't feel comfortable doing. And the actual port had to be glued on, and the glue held for a while, but eventually it broke apart. So I wanted to put something out there that would assemble easily and just be removable very easily. So this is how I did it. So first was trying to get the contour of the edge. Then I tweaked it and extended it out. Once I thought I had it, I decided to extend it downward and try to line up the hole, and this one is off a bit. Then I moved forward with another design, and this hole is a little bit better, but now I'm trying to find the slot, and the slot is off. This is a second attempt, and it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to try to line up the second slot. Now I moved into trying to see how these pegs would work when I line them up into the slots. So I also added an additional 2 holes, and it was really hard and tight to get in. So these are not exactly positioned right. So then I moved forward to having all 4 pegs, trying to see if I could line them up, and they didn't really line up. So now I'm trying this again. I did change the footprint a bit to see if they fit, and yes, we're in. So at this point, I thought I had the bottom already figured out, and I decided to move my design upward, and I thought I had it, but they're not fitting into the slots now, so I needed to tweak it. So I tweaked this by trimming some of the excess material and hoping that my little adjustment on the pegs would fit, and it does. Now it's into position, so I can move forward to the next part of the design. This one now has threads to accept whatever port size you would need. So I started playing with different tolerances to see what I liked once I made this a larger scale. None of these actually worked out the way I wanted them to. This worked out perfectly. This has the right tolerances, and so when I attempt to screw it into my dust collection adapter, it fits very nicely and it's snug. So this is the final version of the dust shroud. It has 4 pegs here that line up perfectly into the slotted section where the old dust collection was. It also has a hole here to accept the threaded knob, and this is the adapter for a 4-inch flexible hose that screws in perfectly. And if you want to use a 2-inch flex hose, then you just swap it out with this 2-inch port. So to install it, line up these pegs with the slots, and also this hole will line up with the threaded hole here. Press down, it's kind of locked in already, and then just tie it down with this, which happens to be a very perfect fit. So this is it attached without the stop guide. Now, if you do want to use this with the shroud, you can still do that. Just don't remove it. Put the shroud on top of it and screw it down. There will be a little bit of a gap on the bottom, but it's not going to affect the dust collection itself. And it's still pretty sturdy. Now, a lot of you have asked me what 3D printer I use. About 18 months ago, I bought my first Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, and I have never looked back since. Now, I know Bambu Lab is the sponsor of this video, but I would recommend them even if they weren't. These are my X1s. Two of them have the AMS unit, and this is the A1 with the AMS Lite, which makes it super easy to do multicolor prints. They are absolutely amazing. In the old days, and by old days, I mean a few years ago, 3D printing was something that required constant patience and attention and calibration and repairing. But Bambu Lab has created extremely reliable, fast, user-friendly, and cost-effective machines for every DIYer and hobbyist out there. Seriously, I cannot say enough about this brand. For hobbyists who just want to get started in 3D printing, the A1 is a great option because it can do most of the things that all the other 3D printers do, but at a very reasonable price point. Now, for those of you who are designing and making parts that need to be high heat resistant and very strong, the X1 Carbon can do all of that. If I were to print this shroud in carbon fiber filament, it would practically be indestructible. But you can also use everyday filaments like PLA and PETG and still get great results. For those people who don't design their own prints, no problem, because Bambu Lab has a giant compilation of 3D print files available for you for free on MakerWorld. All you need to do is install the Bambu Handy app on your phone. Once that's done, you have full access to all the files in their database. Simply search what you're looking for, and when you find it, you can send it directly to your printer without even using a computer. It doesn't get any easier than that. These machines are great. If you're looking to get into 3D printing or just looking to upgrade from an older machine, this is it. There is a reason why so many people here on YouTube are using Bambu Lab printers. It's not because of their aggressive marketing strategy, it's because they make great, easy to use 3D printers. For more information, check the link below in the description. Let's test this out first with a 4-inch hose. Just slip it on and using a clamp it into position. I'm using a 2 horsepower single stage dust collector for these tests, and with the stop on, look how much better the dust collection is. There is a noticeable improvement, and you know the stop is actually creating a bit of an obstruction for the dust, so let's take this thing off and try without it. And now look at this. This is dust collection, and this is how this machine should have been built in the first place, in my opinion. Now, if you are using a 2.5-inch port in your shop, let's see how efficient that is compared to the 4-inch. It is good, definitely better than not using this shroud, but obviously with a larger port size, it's going to take in more of that dust. Now, I know a lot of people use their shop vac for tools like this, so let's hook up the shop vac to the dust shroud, see how it performs, and compare it to when it was hooked up directly to the machine. The shroud is definitely more effective than the built-in dust collection. If you have access to a dust collector like I do, that is the way to go if you want to eliminate almost all of the dust. But again, the shroud works even with the shop vac. And this is the side-by-side comparison, and man, it is really, really noticeable. Now, the big flaw with this is going to be if you want to use the spindle. And if you use the spindle, you're going to probably have to remove the shroud because there just isn't enough room to work with. I would really like to know what you think of this idea in the comments below. If you want to print this dust shroud, the file is free. I'll link it below in the description. It does work. It just requires a little bit of patience. If you don't have a 3D printer, or if you just want to try mine out, I do sell these. I'll link that below in the description as well. Thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one.